The moment the crowd laughed, something inside him snapped. The polished marble floor reflected fear, arrogance, and cruelty all at once as a group of powerful men closed in, blocking the way like predators who had chosen an easy target. He stepped forward without thinking, shoulders squared, heart pounding, a single dad standing between his child and a world that had learned to crush the weak for sport. The words rose from his chest before fear could stop them. Pick on someone else. In that second, nobody noticed the thin black card slipping from the woman's hand, skidding across the floor, carrying his name like a quiet thunder waiting to strike. If you believe kindness still matters, if you believe in second chances and quiet strength, take a moment right now to like this video, share it with someone who needs hope, comment your thoughts and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this only live on when people like you choose to spread them. He had never planned to be here. Life rarely asks permission before it breaks you open. Years earlier, his world had been smaller and louder, filled with deadlines, laughter, and dreams that stretched comfortably into the future. Then the accident came, sudden and merciless, stealing his wife on a rain-soaked highway and leaving him alone with a 4-year-old daughter who clutched his leg at funerals and asked questions he could not answer. Grief hollowed him out, but responsibility filled the empty space. He learned to braid hair with shaking hands, learned to pack lunches at dawn, learned how to smile when every part of him felt like glass. Money faded fast. Medical bills, legal paperwork, and time away from work drained everything he had saved. Pride kept him quiet, even when eviction notices arrived like slow punches to the ribs. He took night shifts, freelance jobs, anything that kept food on the table. The city learned his footsteps, cheap shoes on cracked sidewalks, a tired man pushing forward because stopping was not an option. His daughter grew used to seeing him exhausted. But she also learned what safety looked like. To her, safety was his presence, the way he always placed himself between her and anything loud, rude, or threatening. That instinct was what brought him into the glass tower that day. He had been invited for a routine contract review, nothing glamorous, just another chance to secure steady income. He wore his best jacket, older than he liked to admit, carefully pressed the night before. His daughter waited nearby with a borrowed tablet, sitting quietly like she always did, her small faith in him unwavering. When the group of executives noticed them, the atmosphere shifted. Amusement curled into mockery, whispers sharpened into open contempt. A single dad did not fit their image of power, and a child had no place in their sterile world. He felt the heat rise as they mocked his appearance, his circumstances, the inconvenience of his daughter's presence. He saw her shoulders tense, the way her eyes dropped to the floor. That was the moment he stepped forward. Fear tried to hold him back, reminding him of bills, contracts, consequences. But love moved faster. He blocked their path, not with force, but with resolve. He stood tall, voice steady, asking them to direct their cruelty somewhere else. For a breathless second, silence followed, heavy and uncomfortable. That was when the woman bent down to retrieve her fallen card. She had been watching from a distance, dressed simply, unnoticed until now. The black card caught the light, its surface pristine, heavy with unspoken authority. When she turned it over, the name etched into it was his, not hers, his. Confusion rippled through the room, spreading faster than the earlier laughter. Eyes widened, smiles vanished. The men who had mocked him faltered, their confidence collapsing like scaffolding pulled from beneath them. The truth unraveled quickly. Years ago, before tragedy rewrote his life, he had been a quiet architect of systems and investments that powered much of what they took credit for. He had stepped away when his wife fell ill, transferring holdings, placing assets in trusts, choosing anonymity over applause. The woman with the card was not just a bystander, she was the current CEO, the steward of an empire built on foundations he had designed. The black card bore his name because he was still the silent owner, the one who had never needed recognition to feel whole. The room shifted from mockery to reverence in minutes. Apologies poured out, clumsy and late. He listened without triumph, without bitterness. Power had never interested him the way protection did. He knelt beside his daughter, smoothing her hair, whispering reassurance only she could hear. For him, the victory was not in watching others bow, but in seeing her eyes lift again, trust restored. Change followed, not loudly but decisively. Contracts were rewritten, policies adjusted, cultures challenged. He insisted on compassion embedded into structures that had once rewarded cruelty. Childcare spaces appeared in places they had never existed before. Flexible schedules replaced rigid expectations, not because he demanded it, but because he understood what the absence of kindness costs. The executives who laughed learned something sharper than embarrassment. They learned accountability. At home, life softened. Mornings were still busy, evenings still full of homework and laughter, but the constant edge of fear dulled. He remained the same man, still packing lunches, still showing up to school events, still choosing presence over prestige. His daughter grew, carrying with her the lesson she witnessed that day, that strength does not always shout, and dignity does not require permission. Before the story ends, take a second and comment below one word that this story made you feel. Your words matter more than you know. As the years passed, he never spoke publicly about that moment. Others told it for him, reshaping it into legend, but he kept it simple in his heart. A father stood up. A child felt safe. A system changed, if only a little. Sometimes that is enough to shift the world. If this story touched your heart, if it reminded you that quiet courage can still rewrite fate, please like the video, share it with someone who needs hope, and subscribe to the channel. Your engagement keeps stories like this alive, traveling farther than any black card ever could.